This man had it all: riches, power, the king's personal trust. And then, one single night, he threw a party and lost everything. This is Law 1 from Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, and Greene didn't put it first by accident. This is the law that destroys more careers than any other, because it doesn't trip up lazy people. It trips up the talented ones. Here's something nobody tells you. No matter how confident your boss looks, most people in power are quietly terrified of losing it. They worked hard to get to the top. Now every day they're watching their back. And when someone below them shines too bright, that fear kicks in. And scared, powerful people are dangerous. So, meet Nicolas Fouquet, finance minister of France in the 1600s. Brilliant guy, charming, well-connected. He basically ran the country's money, and he was very, very good at it. He was the second most powerful man in France, second only to the king himself. What Fouquet controlled built the picture of his power. And I mean that literally. Fouquet controlled the royal treasury. He funded the king's wars, paid the army, kept the whole machine running. He also quietly kept some of that money for himself. And with it, he built something extraordinary. A chateau called Vaux-le-Vicomte, the most magnificent private palace in all of France. Now in 1661, the King of France was a young man named Louis XIV, 22 years old. He'd just taken full control of the country after years of being overshadowed by his advisors. He was hungry, he was proud, and Fouquet, wanting to celebrate this new era, invited the king to a party, the party of the century. And what a party it was! 6,000 guests, fireworks, a play written by Molière, personally, the finest food, the rarest wines, and at the center of it all, Fouquet's chateau, bigger than Versailles, more elegant, more expensive, more everything. And as King Louis walked through those gates, he looked around and felt something he wasn't used to feeling. Louis didn't say anything that night. He smiled. He enjoyed the food. He watched the fireworks. But inside, something had shifted. Greene explains it perfectly. The king wasn't just jealous. He was now suspicious. If Fouquet could afford all of this, where was the money coming from? It had to be coming from the royal treasury, from him. Fouquet had just accidentally revealed how much he'd taken. And waiting in the shadows was a man named Colbert, Jean-Baptiste Colbert. He'd wanted Fouquet's job for years and had been quietly feeding the king's suspicions for months. When he saw the king's face at that party, the tightened jaw, the narrowed eyes, he knew. The moment had finally arrived. The next morning, he whispered in the king's ear, "He has been stealing from you, your majesty, for years." 3 weeks later, September 5th, 1661, the king sent his personal guard, a man named D'Artagnan, yes, the real D'Artagnan, to arrest Nicolas Fouquet. The charges: embezzlement, treason. Fouquet didn't see it coming. 3 weeks earlier, he'd been the most powerful man in the room. Now he was in chains. The trial lasted years, and here's the part that really tells you everything about power. The court actually voted to sentence Fouquet to exile, banishment. That was their verdict. But Louis overruled it. Personally, he upgraded the sentence to life in prison, no appeal, no mercy. Fouquet spent the next 19 years in a cell. He died there. His crime? Making the king feel small. That's it. That's all he did. Robert Greene is very clear about what happened here. He says, never take your position for granted and never let any favor you receive go to your head. Your master's ego is not a side issue. It is the main issue. Your job is to make them feel secure, respected, and superior. The moment they feel threatened by you, everything changes. Before you do anything in any power dynamic, figure out what your master fears. What keeps them up at night? What do they need to feel in control? A boss who feels safe around you will protect you, promote you, and go to bat for you. A boss who feels threatened by you will smile to your face and quietly work to remove you. Hide your ambition behind service. You can want everything. Greene doesn't say to kill your drive. He says to disguise it. Channel all that hunger into making your master look good. They'll love you for it. They'll trust you. And that trust, That's how you actually climb, not by showing how good you are, by making them feel indispensable while you become indispensable. Give them the credit. When your idea wins, let them announce it. When the project succeeds, make sure they're standing in the spotlight. You lose one moment of recognition. In return, you get something far more valuable: their loyalty, their protection, and eventually their job. Now I know what you're thinking. That was the 1600s. Things are different now. Are they, though? How many people do you know who got quietly pushed out after one presentation where they outshined their manager? Or got overlooked for a promotion right after making their boss look bad in a meeting? The law doesn't care what century it is. Human ego is the same. So practically speaking, do let your boss take credit publicly. Don't correct them in front of others even if they're wrong. Do ask for their opinion even when you already know the answer. Don't flaunt anything that makes them feel inadequate. And always, always find ways to make your success look like a reflection of their leadership. And here's how Green puts it, in one line that you should probably write down: make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. That's the whole law. Don't be Fouquet. He had everything. He lost it all because he forgot the one rule that matters most. Your master's ego is more powerful than your talent. One party, one night, 19 years in a cell.